You had like a quarterback competition that was just dead even really from the beginning. What would you imagine it is like for those guys?
Yeah, Greeny, it's competition. And Justin Fields, based off what you just heard him say, he is in apply pressure mode, right? Every single day he walks into that building, he is trying to show the Pittsburgh Steelers brass why their belief in him is warranted. And that's the blessing and the curse of the quarterback position, guys, is only one guy plays. But wait, maybe not so fast. Maybe there's a way for the Pittsburgh Steelers to play both Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. I think they should create a red zone package for Justin Fields. Call it the Field Zone package. Allow him to use the RPOs that he was so successful with in college, boots, keepers, nakeds, and it'll stretch out the defense and maximize both of these guys within this offense. Now, I'm not saying go full Cordell Stewart on this bad boy, but give him an opportunity to step on the field because I don't believe that the Steelers are going to be led by their offense this year. Their defense is what's going to have to keep them in the game, so they got to find as many ways as they possibly can to open up their offense and have an extra dynamic element, and I think Justin Fields brings that to the table.
That is utter insanity. Like, utter insanity. This idea that they should have, like, these packages for him, you're only setting Justin Fields up for failure because you're putting him in these high pressure, intense situations, maybe whether it be throughout the game or like at the end of the game, and you're going to set him up to fail because then if he doesn't convert, if he doesn't do it, it will only be there to continue to degrade his confidence, the confidence from the fans, the organization, the players. Like anyone, especially though Justin Fields right now with his lack of success that he's had, you need to have a rhythm, a flow. You need to have consistency. You need to be able to have reps. How many times, if you said Patrick Mahomes, you only get one throw a game and it better be really good, that's really hard to succeed in. And that's even for the all-time greats. You need to get settled. You can't just be thrown in. Not to mention, you now also don't know when he's ever getting thrown in. He's not going to know, except for maybe the first few drives when these things are going to be a little bit more scripted. But like, he's now just going to be watching the whole game, just waiting for his chance to get in, and might even be less engaged when he knows, okay, well, there's, you know, if I'm only doing like red zone stuff, then like I have no, you know, he's maybe not paying as much attention because it's like not his job just yet. Like he's just kind of like waiting. They're kind of like almost like a field goal kicker or special teams. Like it's just like you're just kind of like waiting. And I think you're going to keep him now anxious throughout the entire game, being like, am I going in? Am I not? Am I going in? Am I not? Am I going in? Am I not? And then also like somewhat less engaged because it's just like, yeah, well, my only chance of going in is if we're like at like the 7-yard line or whatever. So I think it's just weird. And if he's good enough to be able to consistently convert these and do good, well, then you should just be having him start that at that point. If you believe in him enough to be able to get the job done when it matters most, scoring touchdowns, well, then you should be able to have him be able to handle the ball when they're at their own 20, when they're at the 40, the 50. Like, all of those make sense. So it's a bizarre thing to do. This isn't NFL Blitz, like the video game here, right? Like, I don't get it. Like, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. And ask yourselves, what really, truly successful teams do anything like that consistently? Oh, a bunch of teams tried to fool around with those types of things, and it didn't work out. It did not work out. The Eagles tried to do it with Jalen Hurts and Carson Wentz, and it was like, nah, this is a disaster. And you know what? Seeing Jalen Hurts not really be successful in that, because you're setting the player up to fail, because everyone kind of has a greater idea of what a quarterback is going to do in that position when you do have a package. Like, they'll have a better idea of what to expect from Jalen Hurts or Justin Fields, that the success rate isn't as high. And so you're a lot more limited. And so the fans, because at first, like, this sounds like a fan. Fans get excited. When Jalen Hurts, when people were still high on Carson Wentz and Jalen Hurts was drafted by the Eagles, it was like, oh, well, this would be interesting. Like, they can do some of these, like, fun, interesting, dynamic plays. And Jalen Hurts is really fast and he can do this and that. And then when you kind of saw it unfold, you're like, no, just let Carson keep the ball. What the heck? He marched the team down the field. He's been doing great. He's been balling out. Don't put Jalen Hurts in there right now. And then you kind of start to sour on Jalen. And then, of course, the tides turned, but that was for very specific reasons. That wasn't because everybody was watching Jalen ball out and they were like, whoa, we need him to have the whole time. And now let's say Jalen Hurts' progress had been accelerated, where now he was the 2022 Jalen Hurts, and he was showing that earlier on in his career when Carson Wentz was still the quarterback. Then you're going to have the feeling of like, well, then get Carson out. Put Jalen in. Carson has been struggling to get the ball down the field. That was all, I'm making up a wide receiver. A.J. Brown wasn't there at the time. A.J. Brown, like, get him out. Put Jalen in. So it just continues to make things more complicated. And then now, like, if Russ is, like, playing okay, pretty good, whatever, average, slightly above average, but now Justin Fields has an amazing dynamic play in the red zone, then other people are going to be like, well, wait a second. Maybe Justin Fields should just have the whole drive. And now if Russ is actually getting some momentum going, and then it stalls with Justin Fields, now there's resentments. It's like, don't give it to Justin Fields. Russ has been cooking. Things have been going well. Don't take the ball out of his hands right now. What are we doing? So it's just too disruptive. Maybe if you had true offensive geniuses like Shanahan's and Reed's and Steichen's and McVay's, then I would be more open to that argument. But we're going to trust the Pittsburgh Steelers to be able to integrate that successfully. No chance. I don't see it happening. And I think, and I say this with respect, Justin Fields needs to be babied. You can't just throw him in a game, throw him out of the game, pull him, put him in, put him out, put him in, put him out, put him in, put him out. He's already felt so destabilized in Chicago. He needs the consistent, steady reps. Consistently. And if you're going to play him, you want him to have the actual true preparation of the first team reps, of actually getting the rapport and the chemistry with the players, the cadence, everything. It's such a poetry in motion. It's not just a plug and play. You can't just say, oh, we'll take Russ out and I will put Justin in. It just doesn't work that way. It doesn't. So if you're rooting for the Steelers to succeed, well, then that's not the way to do it. And if you're rooting for Justin Fields to succeed, that's also not the way to do it. And if you're rooting for Russell Wilson to succeed, that's not the way to do it. If you're rooting for all these guys to fail, then that's what you do. But those are just my thoughts. I would absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think? Do you think that this is a good idea and that Justin Fields is a dynamic element that the Steelers are missing? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of, and I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.